next movie is motherfucking The Green Mile.
Woo!
Which is another one I've never seen before. Well, I'd seen parts of Beer Fest, but I'd never seen any of this before. And
Wow.
Tom Hanks. A lot of people, I've heard a lot about it. One of my best friends, this is his favorite Tom Hanks film.
Really?
Yes. Not Turner and Hooch, I know, it's crazy.
Not Splash, really?
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, let's take it this 6 wait, 7
Splash is great. Splash 2, garbage.
I didn't even know there was a Splash 2.
Oh, there is.
Oh, God.
It can haunt you in your dreams.
I believe you. Okay, so The Green Mile takes place in a prison in like the 30s, and but specifically it's the death penalty sector where they kill people.
Death Row.
The death row, thank you. I was not saying it right, but yeah, death row, and this particular sector, because I can't seem to think of another word, is called the Green Mile.
Cell block.
Because the floor is green. Yeah. They say faded lime green.
Stephen King.
Stephen King wrote this originally.
Stevie loves Stephen King and Boston.
Well, Stevie
Loves that connection.
Stevie loves all Stevies.
Fair enough.
Stevie Wonder, Stevie King. There's probably others that I'm not thinking of. Stevie Nicks.
But this is the least horrific Stephen King thing I've heard of, probably.
Well, this isn't like a horror movie, no. And usually he's horror, right? Typically. But this is more like a fantasy, kinda. Drama. Fantasy drama, I would classify it as.
And we mentioned Slam and Salmon already. This movie also stars Michael Clark
Yeah.
Duncan.
Yeah, that's right.
The late great.
That's right, he's in that movie too.
He's a great actor.
oh, yeah.
Man. He's really good in this.
Oh yeah, no, he is a great actor. Also, rest in peace, 2012. He died. Rest in peace.
2012 already?
Yeah. I looked that up before today.
That's when I graduated high school, man. That's when we graduated high school.
Yeah, 2012 that's the year. Yeah, we're the same year. That's right, I forget that sometimes.
94 forever. Best year.
Never forget.
Best year ever.
94.
What year did this come out?
99, I think?
Damn.
Let me double check that on the Wikipedias, but I think that's accurate. The Green Mile film, yes, that's what we want. 1999, I'm right.
Nailed it.
1996 novel. The novel's from 1996.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah,
It was a really, apparently huge popular book in the 90s.
that makes sense.
We were alive at that time, but we were not reading books of this
caliber.
magnitude, yeah.
Oh, okay, finally got the sign up. Here we go. So this was interesting movie.
I haven't seen it in
I
a
have
while.
a bit to talk about with it, I think. But let's first just talk about the plot, because that's a good place to start. It takes place in this death row facility, like we said. Tom Hanks is like in charge of the block. But before this happens, we see him as an old man, and he's in like an old folks home, and he be talking to this one lady, and he's like always walking at night, and people are like, what's up with that? But everyone's sort of chill with it, I guess, because he's chill, and he's talking to this woman, and he's like, man, I fucking cried when we were watching that movie because of this, and he started telling this story, and what I really, really liked about this movie is that almost every movie that has a framing device, they'll put a little segment of the framing device in the middle of the film. Like they'll go back and remind you that they're telling the story, and like for instance, they would maybe go back to the old folks' home, but they never do, not till the end. And I really, really like that, because you don't need to do that. You know, when there's that strong narrative, there's that narration, you don't need to go back. I really like that. And it's a long movie too, but it still works. Like there's plenty of time for them to have had moments like that. But they didn't, and I respect that. But yeah, they go to Tom Hanks in once the old man is telling the story about what happened, we see them in the cell block, and we have Del, and they're getting a new... Del is, I don't know, he's a French guy who murdered someone, I'm assuming. I don't know if they tell us exactly what he did, but then we get our guy, John Coffey, coming into the facility, and this actor is really big too. He was huge, I think, right? The John Coffey guy. What's his name again?
John Coffey. Which character is he?
We were just talking the Salmon Slamming guy.
Oh, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, he's John Coffey, and so
Okay.
that's his character's name. But yes, what was I gonna say? John Coffey and JC, Jesus Christ. He represents Jesus Christ because he's magical. Anyway, we'll get more into that later. But yeah, he has powers, healing powers. But yeah, they're bringing him in, and he's super polite. He's simple-minded. He's supposed to be mentally challenged, I guess.
He's fucking jacked.
But he's super strong, so they're like kind of worried about him because they think he might try to overpower them or something. But he's super chill and just like, it is nice.
Giant.
He's like, what? I just want to sit down. It's fine.
Take my hands, boss.
I'm chill. Yeah, he's nice. But yeah, I'll just and there's lots of shit that happens, but that's the main premise. Is like we're waiting for John Coffey to die, sort of. But we'll start talking about some of the other stuff. So Sam Rockwell is in this movie as Wild Bill. And he's excellent. He's always excellent. I really love Sam Rockwell.
Me too.
He's a great actor. And it was funny, right after I watched this movie, I watched Galaxy Quest, which he is also in, which is funny. Because I didn't remember him being in it, because I'd seen Galaxy Quest before. I put it on because I love it. Real quick review of Galaxy Quest. It's fucking awesome. 9 out of 10.
Thumbs up.
I love Galaxy Quest.
So much fun.
But anyway, Sam Rockwell. He's great in this. He plays this sort of psychopathic murderer, and I'm not gonna...
Not sort of, fully.
Yeah, no, you're correct. That's fair to say. But he plays this psychopathic killer, and I don't want to ruin the ending, but yeah, he does a great job, and we have him in the cell block. And let's talk about the supernatural element. So John Coffey has the ability to heal people and animals and of anything, it would appear, because the first thing we see is that Tom Hanks has a urinary infection, and honestly these parts may be uncomfortable, but I think it's supposed to, because it's like, oh, him pissing and being like, ah, and like, oh, I don't want to pee, and
Tom Hanks can act his ass off.
No, he's good. He's good.
Sweating, and you can feel the fucking...
No, he's a good actor.
The pain through his penis. You can feel it.
And so John Coffey helps Tom Hanks with his urinary infection. He just grabs him and like
I really wished he grabbed his dick.
First, that would make it too silly. But he grabs him and at first it's like, oh my god, are you trying to kill me? But no, he's trying to help him, and he saves him of his urinary infection. He's just fine after that. And I want to talk real quick because I was watching a thing called Hollywood Attack of the Hollywood Clichés with Rob Lowe, and they talked about this movie in it, and they said that it was specifically kind of racist because the magical N-word trope. I'm not going to say that, but it's when there's a black character and they have magical powers and they're mystical and they're sort of a source of knowledge, and they always have magical powers, and this is a trope. It's a real thing. It's in a lot, and this technically would classify as in this trope, but I don't think it's racist. Their reasoning was that, oh, he's sentenced for a crime that he didn't commit, and he's about to die, but in his last few moments, what does he do? He helps these white people. But because he is this kind heart, I think that's the point. That's the point of this. He has this kind heart. He's around these are the people that are around him. Like and so he wants to help them, and he just wants to help people, and they show later, and I kind of have to ruin a little bit of the ending, but I have to talk about it, where Tom Cruise is like, well, you're...
Tom Hanks.
Sorry, Tom, thank you. Tom, mixing up the Toms, but yeah, Tom Hanks is like, well, you clearly are great. You're clearly a miracle. I don't want to kill you, kind of thing.
Execute.
I don't want you to have to go into the electric chair. Do you want me to just like let you go? And he's like, no. I'm sick of this burden of these powers that I've been given. I'm hearing all the pain. I can feel all this hurt in the world, and I want to fucking die. So I think this movie is great. I think that it's not. I don't think it's racist. I don't think anyway. Maybe I don't think it is really, because of the reasons I said. But I can see how you could maybe construe like the magical N-word trope. Sure, yeah, he is a part of that. But is that necessarily bad? It's a real thing.
Okay.
Look it up. But no, this movie is really good though, and the dialogue is so good.
He is the only black dude in the movie though.
He is only black. Well, that's not true. There's extras when they show them on the plantation. That they show people like
no speaking roles though.
No, it's true. That's true. I'm not gonna lie. There are. This is
not shaping up.
You know, you could say it is whitewashed to a certain extent, but I don't think it's like hate filled or it's trying to give a negative message towards the black community in any way. I do think it at heart it means well, and I think it's a good story. It's about this guy who just wants to help. He has these powers. He just wants everyone to be okay and to help and to be happy basically. And yeah, I think it's a good film and just really well written. Like the plot and the dialogue both. There's a couple things like that I think it's just more that like I just didn't get, but there's very minor things. I sort of let it slide, but it was pretty much very good. I would say this movie is.
What are these minor things?
There's just like a little. I'm trying to think, but I just remember watching the movie and be like, what did that doesn't quite make sense, but. I'm having trouble remembering honestly, but it was something like super minor though.
Okay.
Like it wasn't that big a deal. It was like okay, well, maybe that could be explained by magic or whatever.
I gotta watch this again.
Oh, one note that this is just a me sort of note from my heart. There's a part where John Coffey's describing his last meal, and it's like meatloaf and collard green or okra and mashed potatoes or something. And I just would have liked to see that meal. I like seeing food in movies. That's just sort of like a me note, cause you're like, oh man, he's describing that. I really want to see that plated kind of thing. But it's fine. Stevie Nicks, yeah, that's right. I remembered. But yeah, The Green Mile was I think this was really good. I can see why so many people love it. And I know, like, not only people that it's their favorite Tom Hanks film. I know people who this is their absolutely favorite film of all time.
Movie, yeah.
And I get it. It's very well made. And another minor negative note, very minor. You could argue it's too long. It drags just a little bit.
How long is it?
It's 3 hours and 8 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
So it's like longer than a Lord of the Rings movie.
Could have been 2.5 hours.
It could have been cut a bit, but it wasn't really boring ever for the most part. Maybe a couple parts dragged, but it always kept you sort of wanting to see what happened. So I think it was still a very well made film. And I am now running out of shit to say about it. Do you have anything to say?
Couple things. Number one, I should have rewatched it for this review.
It's okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's okay.
I've seen it maybe like 8 to 10 times.
No, we didn't talk about the mouse.
As far as parts, I was just gonna bring that up because all the things I remember from this movie are
this is Stephen King. Yep.
Sam Rockwell acting like a fucking psychopath, and he's really good at it.
So good.
Stomps the fuck. I don't want to give it away, but he stomps the fuck out of a mouse.
Sam Rockwell doesn't do it. It's that dickhead Percy.
Oh yeah,
We
the
should
dickhead guard.
We should talk about Percy.
The dickhead guard stomps the shit out of a mouse, and then
Percy, you hate him right away, and you're supposed to hate him.
Michael Clark Duncan just picks up that little mouse in his hands, and he's just fucking.
I remember one of the things that didn't make sense to me.
Perfectly fine mouse.
I remember one of the things that didn't make sense to me. So we got Percy, right? So, John Coffey. I'm gonna spoil some shit. That's just,
Explain who Percy is.
Percy is a guard that he is related to people who are higher up in the government, so he can do whatever he wants, basically. And everyone,
my daddy this, my daddy that.
everyone just sort of has to suck up to him reluctantly. But he is a complete asshole, and throughout the film, it's shown that we're shown this.
He's a grade A cunt.
But yeah, John Coffey takes cancer out of this woman. I'm spoiling some shit, but that's okay.
Which woman though? You don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna say some woman. He takes cancer out of this woman, and he's struggling. He's kind of like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen to John Coffey? Is he gonna die?
Cancer's a heavy bitch.
Is he gonna die before getting executed? But then Percy comes around, and Coffey fucking grabs Percy and breathes the bees into him. That's how it's shown on camera. It's basically like bees going into people's mouth, which I thought was kind of a funny way of doing it. But I like that. And it goes into him, but then he goes insane. But he doesn't get cancer. So that's what I was I was confused. But maybe just, the magic does what it wants. That was me sort of rationalizing
His
it.
brain cancer.
But yeah, brain cancer turned into just being generally like crazy, like he had a lobotomy basically. But so I was like, would that be how it worked? But then I was also like, it's fucking magic.
It's a Stephen King, Stephen King's writing about clowns and storm drains and shit,
No,
so
it's true.
Let's not get too carried away with that realisticness of it.
No, it's true. So that was in my mind or no.
I remember the mouse getting stomped and healed. I remember the cancer. I remember the take my hands boss takes the bladder infection away.
Yeah, because Percy stomps on the mouse, but then they give him to Coffee and he just fixes him and then breathes the beast out.
Great performances.
It's good.
Amazing performances. And the sponge, very important to this movie. Gotta wet the sponge.
Oh yeah, I don't want to ruin that part, but yeah, you gotta wet the sponge. Let's just say that. Well, I'm talking about the mouse a little more. So when I was watching this, and they were trying to, there's a part when they're trying to catch the mouse, but then they befriend the mouse, which is fine.
The mouse belongs to one of the prisoners on Green Mile.
Does it actually belong to him?
Well, it's his buddy.
He become. I thought he just sort of was like, I found him, and then they become friends.
Pretty much.
That's what I gathered. But my point I'm trying to make is they're trying to find this mouse. They're hunting for a little bit. They're hunting him. Trying to catch him because rodents, whatever. But it made me really think of the film Mouse Hunt. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
It made me. I was like, am I just watching Mouse Hunt 2 right now, the prequel or something?
I might have seen Mouse Hunt as a kid.
It's fucking good. I stand by Mouse Hunt. But
for some reasons, I'm getting it confused with The Borrowers. Do you know what The Borrowers is?
Yes, I do. I like The Borrowers as well. But Mouse Hunt's different, very different. Although mouses are small. The Borrowers are small.
Very small.
That's all I can relate it to.
That's my fucking brain over here.
But yeah, Mouse Hunt. That's what I was saying when I was watching this. Like, this is like Mouse Hunt 2, the prequel or something. But then, obviously, it changes the focus of the film from the mouse to the human characters. But I thought that was kind of funny. I am running out of shit to say, though, for reals now. I'm glad you refreshed my memory there.
Just, man, it's just such a solid movie. The only gripe is that it's fucking probably too long. Like,
just a little bit too.
You could at least cut a half an hour probably out of this
because
movie.
they do use it. It uses its time pretty well for being that long, I think. But it is when you're that long, it's hard to not drag a little bit.
I don't think I've ever seen the very beginning in my life.
It starts off with the old man part. You don't even seen the old man part?
I don't think I have, man. I think I've only seen it on cable. On TV with commercials and shit.
How could you?
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Despicable. But I've seen the end. And I know the end brings it back to the old man again at the very end. And so I know that's probably how they set it up, because you can't end it like that without setting it up.
And I've spoiled some things near the ending, but I won't spoil like the ending. So yeah, that was great. I'm done. If you're done, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, great film. What are you rating it?
I might just. Okay, I'll go half a step down, 8.5.
Man, that's what I was gonna give it.
Damn.
I thought it was really good.
8.5.
And Bergs.
Done.
All right, guys. That's been the movie reviews. Thanks, guys. Here we go.
Cheers.
Oh wait, no, let's put on a beat to avoid copyright law.
Yes.
Crying in Quebec from Turn Up Music SK. Before was Milky Beat from Patrick Swankins. Here we go.
Dang. Look at all the beats in there.
There we go. Okay, so the Green Mile, it was good, man. 8.5 out of 10 all around. Solid, maybe a little long. Some of the bits maybe you're like, I don't know if that would work like that, but you let it slide because it's magic. Okay, that's that. End of the review. Boom.
Woo!